Hi, this is Gladys Briggs from Junction. How are you today? In this lesson, I'm going to be teaching you about proportions. I always like to start off with a good keyword definition. So what is a proportion? A proportion is another way that we compare things in maths. For example, in your class, you may want to compare the number of boys to the number of girls. So you may have like 12 boys and 15 girls in your class. And you may say that the proportion of boys to girls is 15 to 12 to 15. A proportion can be written as a fraction, a decimal, a percentage, or ratio. So many different ways of writing proportions. There are two major ways that we group proportions. You can have direct proportion or inverse proportion. These are the two types of proportions that you may have. Let me explain them to you quickly before we jump into some examples. With direct proportion, that happens when the increase in one thing causes the increase in another thing. Yeah, so for example, if you consider the sale of ice cream, yeah, if the weather is hot, if the weather is very hot, then there'll be people will be more thirsty. People will want something cool to cool them down, so they will demand more ice cream. They will want more ice cream. So ice cream sale will increase as the temperature increases. Yeah, so that's a good example of direct proportion. With inverse proportion, when one thing that's the opposite of direct proportion. In this case, when one thing increases, the other one reduces. For example, speed and time. Speed and time in terms of driving. If you're on the motorway, if you're on an expressway, if you're going to somewhere, the faster you drive, the quicker it takes you to get there. Not that you have to drive quickly, you have to obey the speed limits, precaution. You have to obey the traffic limits that have been put. But if you drive faster, you definitely get to your destination faster. If you drive slower, you get to your destination slower. So increase in speed causes a reduce in time, a less time. When you increase the speed, it takes you a shorter time to get it done. So let's jump into some examples. So let's have a look at this example of direct proportion. It says in 4 hours, a man earns £40. How much does he earn in 5 hours? I know you can sort of work this out in your head, because straight away the £10 is coming to your head for 1 hour. But that's the main thing that you have to find. That's the main thing that you have to do with any proportion problem like this. If it says it takes 4 hours for a man to earn £40, then how much does the man earn in 1 hour? This is known as the unitary method. When you try to find the cost of 1 unit of something. Yeah, so 4 hours equals £40. So we have to find the cost of 1 hour. Then how much does 1 hour cost? 1 hour is going to cost us 40 divided by 4, which is equal to £10. Therefore, if we know that 1 hour costs £10, then we can multiply by 10 to give us 5 hours. 5 hours would be equal to £10 times 5, which is equal to £50. Now let's have a look at this question that I'm trying to highlight now. Yeah, that question says 5 cans of Coke cost £2.50. How much would 8 cans of Coke cost? Now again, we want to find out the cost of 1 can of Coke first. If 5 cans of Coke, 5 cans cost £2.50, yeah, then it means that 1 can would be equal to £2.50 divided by 5. Okay, this is going to be equal to 50 pence. All right, if we then think about how we can work out the cost of 8 cans from these 50 pence that we now have for 1 can, that would be 8 cans Therefore, 8 cans would be equal to 50 pence times 8. Okay? I think that's equal to £4. And that's it. £4 and 0 pence. So let's have a look at this example of inverse proportion. It says 8 men dig a ditch in 5 days. How long will it take 4 men to dig the same ditch? Yeah? Okay. So you got 8 men. 8 men dig that ditch, yeah, in 5 days. And using the unitary method, you want to find out what it takes 1 man to dig that ditch. Now remember, we had to multiply. When we were doing direct proportions, we were dividing, but this time you can't just jump straight into dividing, because look, you're going from 8 men dig in 5 days. You want to find out what it takes 1 man to dig. So in this case, you're going to have to multiply. 8 times 5 is going to give you 40 days. It will take 1 man 40 days to dig the same ditch. Yeah? Okay, now that we know how long it will take 1 man to dig, let's find out how long it will take 4 men to dig. Now, 4 men would be equal to, now 40, right, divided by 4, which is equal to 10 days. Okay, and if you look at those two, right, you had 8 men dug it in 5 days, then 4 men double, yeah, 4 men 10 days. One is reducing, the other one is increasing. That's inverse proportion. It makes a lot of sense, because in mathematics you have to make sure that your answers make sense. This is an inverse proportion problem, and therefore if one thing is reducing or increasing, the other one would be reducing. If one thing is increasing, the other one will be reducing. Yeah, if one thing is reducing, the other one will be increasing. Let's look at the last example before we finish off this lesson. It says a camping party of 3 has enough food to last them 4 days. So 3 people have enough food to last them for 4 days. If another person joins the party, that's 4 people. Yeah? How long will the food last? It takes 3 people 4 days to eat the food. How long will it take 4 people? That's what you want to find out. But let's see how we can work out how long it takes 1 person. 1 person would be equal to 4 times 3, which is equal to 12 days. Therefore, 4 people would then be equal to 12 divided by 4, which is equal to 3 days. Yeah? Excellent. That's my last example for this video. There's lots of activities on Maths Junction on direct and inverse proportion, and I'm going to leave the link to Maths Junction for number work down on the information box below for you, so that you can click it to get to Maths Junction, okay, to find the activities. Thank you for watching, and I hope this helped. See you soon. Bye.